look ahead for the team. Took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free. Free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity, I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I'm still live through technology. After the sun, then comes the rain. And after the storm, the sun will start shining. When tears of pain, and tears of pain, and tears of pain, and a dash of struggle. Just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, falls in the sea.
What's going on, world? What's going on? 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 It's your dude BubzDaGawd here with yet another live for you all. Y'all give me a second. First of all, shout out to those of you who came through and supported the video essay drop. I kind of want to talk about that a little bit more. If you have any thoughts, concerns, whether you agree, disagree, I still want you to let me know your thoughts. I might drop the link, and if I do, it's only going to be for a little bit because there's another part of this live that I want to do. Because I don't just talk about ish or whatever just to be talking about it. I don't talk about ish like this in the degree that I do with the passion that I do for any sort of clout chasing purpose. I have conversations with people every day who are affected by queerphobic stuff. And this reality that we're living in collectively is becoming a lot more dangerous. So I'm going to do my due deals. Again, it's not for the fame. It's not for the adoration, even though your work being appreciated does feel good. But that's not the purpose of my projects. The purpose of my projects is to be able to help heal humanity. And I want the individuals who feel the opposite way that I feel to do the level of work that I've done. I want y'all to start making hour-plus video essays, bringing up facts, bringing up statistics, bringing up all type of ish. I want y'all to do that. But again, thank you. And what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Hopefully my camera will not be doing no crazy-ish. Okay? I have to cover my hand because y'all know what I'm doing. Again, shout out. What's it? The thing of the stream, girl. The strain of the stream is Dream On. Jungleberry Dream On. Shout out to them. But I wanted to come through real quick just to talk a little bit more about excuse me, the project. Again, if anybody have any thoughts, concerns, critiques about it, this is the time for that to happen. This is kind of what I really want to be doing, not Long Street Job. Did you watch the video essay? What did you think of it? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But and yes, I got that from you. Yes, Long Street Job. But and I kind of again wanted to continue further with a little bit more elaboration. First of all, y'all, if y'all don't notice, I love information. The more information, the better. Because what I'm realizing is that information really is what's going to save you in the midst of all this bullshit, is your intellect. Now, learning how to apply the things that you learn, that's another thing, but information is very, very important. And with this video essay, I really wanted to make sure that I did my due deals with this. Y'all don't understand the rewrites. The nights that I've been up to like 6, 7 in the morning, finishing different acts, just doing what I can to make it as cohesive as possible. And I'll be sitting here thinking that these projects that I'm going to do is like going to be done in a matter of a week or two. No. The way I think, no. The way I edit, no. The way I break things down, no. The way I'm open-minded, no. It's going to take me a while to do those projects. But It's out. It's done. If you haven't seen it yet, you can definitely go check it out. And also, too, if you are a person who comments on people's YouTube channel, because I am a partner, if you look at the comments and you swipe over to the left, guess what? There's a hype section. If you click that hype section, you can give me hype points, or that video hype points, to help it grow through the algorithm. So I'm going to definitely need y'all help with that. Again, we're over 1K. We're putting in the work. Baby, again, all the long late nights, early morning, all that stuff, we deal with all that. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna need y'all to do y'all big one. If y'all can like, if y'all can share, if y'all can comment, if you can share it in different spaces. I know Deshaun does that a lot. And again, use them hype points. But no shade, I was nervous about releasing the full video essay. Because again, the way that I think, and I overthink a lot, I wanted to make sure I got everything like nook and cranny. So like if somebody comes through and say one thing, I already got that covered. Or someone else comes through and say something else, I already got that covered. But at the end of the day, I had to slow down and be like, Bubs, you be so busy trying to give 100 because 99.5 won't do, but your 99.5 is literally like 5,000 to other people. So just put yourself out there. And speaking of Queen Stevie, who's in the building, thank you, Queen. Thank you. There was an interview she did months ago with one of my favorite male vocalists of all time, girl, BubzZfloww. And BubzZfloww said something in that interview with her, and he said, whatever you're doing, whatever your project is, I understand in your head you have this version, this idea of what it is, but still put it out. Put it out. Because what you think is 75%, 80%, not fully 100%, is going to be like 3,000% to somebody else. We can look at Tubi. There are so many damn Tubi movies that, to me, from my perspective, are like, oh no, this is not it. But people like it and love it. You see how diverse humanity is? See how diverse the life experience is, that you ain't got to like it, you ain't got to love it, you ain't got to understand it. Just be grateful and thankful. And show grace to human beings that there's another person out there that will love that person for you. Okay. But again, I always get nervous when I release projects. I always get nervous when I'm having conversations with people, especially if it's more in a debate style. It's not because I'm scared, because if I was scared, I wouldn't be doing it. Because fear is a part of life's process, but it's the courage. It gives you opportunity to tap into your courage that gives you the energy that you need to be able to get over certain things. And one thing about me, even though my ass can be scared at times, even though my ass may feel some type of way about things and uncertainty, one thing BubzDaGawd gonna still do is still go through it. I'm gonna talk my shit, but I'm gonna go through it because that's courage. If I didn't have courage, I wouldn't be here today. If I didn't have courage, I wouldn't have taken the time out of my life that I can't get back to be able to give life to humanity in the areas of humanity that really wants that life, because of all of the life-destroying, life-threatening rhetoric that's going around certain people, certain groups of people's realities. I wanted to make sure that that video essay did its big one for them. And I keep telling y'all, I don't know who it is, I don't know when it's going to happen, but there's going to be somebody who is in high school or college who is going to be doing a research paper on queerness, queerphobia in the Black community, and they're going to come across my channel, and the way that my channel is loaded with so many hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of content that breaks things down, baby. Because y'all don't watch, I know some of y'all don't like watching all my stuff, because I have the gift of gab, girl. I do. I do know how to talk, baby. And the thing about me is that everybody ain't gonna listen, but there are people who will. No shade. And those are the people that I'm trying to connect with as well, because those are the people that we need to be focusing on. Okay? Those are the people that we need to be having conversations with. The ones that want to be transformative. But what are y'all thoughts? What did y'all think about the video essay? I know the audio in the beginning was wacky. I had to work with that. When I ended up recording the disclaimer in the beginning, I waited. I recorded that, a day or so ago. I recorded the disclaimer because I wanted to watch the video essay in its entirety, and then again, whatever loose ends, being overthinker, perfectionist, okay, I can address some of that in my disclaimer. But in my disclaimer, I look slightly orange. I look like the type of orange that the orange one really wants to be, girl. Like a healthy, natural melanin orange, girl. Not that sprayed tanned on Oopa Loopa orange. You know? But, yeah, it was a few things that, of course, in the video essay that I was picking out. Like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, that what... I'm learning not to do that. My job is to create, and whatever the hell people take from my creation is what the hell they're going to take from my damn creation. I done sat here and explained to myself. I done sat here and gave examples. I done sat here and gave stats. I done sat here on my channel and done peer-reviewed dissertations about things. Like, I've done all this. You know? So, again, the level and the depth of getting into the nooks and crannies, not just scratching the tip of the iceberg, but like getting deep in that mug, we're going to have to learn how to do that. Because if we don't, people like Amir, and again, the public version, not the personal, I don't know him personally, but the public version of him, people like him are going to continue to win, even though it's temporary, continue to win over their own people who they need to be helping. And who eventually will end up getting their own nigga experience. It's just a matter of time. But what were some of y'all favorite parts from the video essay? My favorite part of the video essay, no shade, was the religious hypocrisy section, baby. When I was editing that part and putting the music and the stuff together, it was just like funny to me, because that was the part, that was the time, that was the era where it was like, okay, girl, see, we could explore this. You were tapping into your humanity because your humanity or your possible reality is now threatened. And now you want to show up talking about, oh, well, me, well, when I do it, I need to have rights for me. It needs to be me. Okay, but then you don't have that same awareness for trans people, non-gender conforming people, non-gender binary people. You don't think they deserve that experience? And then also too, after like doing that last live recently of Amir, when he went to the wildest, craziest, most dramatic, most just insane pride event and talked to the people, it was like, girl, the entire time you were asking people these questions and they were the most objective answers I've ever heard of in my life, to where you had to go outside of the queer community and go find white conservative people who are MAGA to talk to them, girl, about what's going on with queerness. So you say you were going to the source and you couldn't get nothing from the source, and then you sat inside your damn room and tried, like branding, and tried to remix-ish and try to put shit together to make it seem like what you're saying is true. It's overwhelming, it's sweeping, it's such a very, like, oh my God, such a very big draw to concern in reference to what's happening to the children. And you couldn't do that. I didn't put the shit on, hold on, I didn't put the damn thing on repeat. And you couldn't even do that. You couldn't even do that. So when I saw this, I said, yeah, this video essay. Because I'm going to say it like this. When I first started working on the video essay and recording the video essay, there were times where I was looking at the different drafts of scripts, and I'm kind of like, and again, scripts to be able to help compile my thoughts to make it more cohesive. It's still my thoughts. It's still my perspective. It's still the way that I see it. Also allowing myself to be more objective and learning about information and stuff, to be like, again, a student of life, a student for life. Girl. You know the crazy part about this, and I told y'all, that's why I put shit in long form content, because there are gonna be times where I'm doing my lives and stuff, I'm gonna be all over the place, because there's so much that I covered in that video essay. So much. And it's shit that we be sitting here and acting like we don't see, but we see and we know. Again, like in my video essay, as it explains, yeah, y'all just so blind to it. And that's very terrifying, that there's a lot of people in the world who believe in fear and ignorance to such a degree that they will be the ones who are completely delusional, and then turn around and call you delusional. I don't get it. But as I was making the video essay and I was looking at the different drafts of scripts and stuff like that, I was kind of like, damn, Bubs, it's pretty aggressive. This is pretty aggressive the way that it's coming out or whatever. And it's kind of like, because I've done commentary on Amir Odom before over the past few years in reference to like doing live streams like I'm doing now, reviewing his videos about pride and stuff like that. I've done my research, and a lot of y'all may not know who BubzDaGawd is, but there are people who know who BubzDaGawd is. And for those of you who know me, who've been rocking with me on this channel for a while, y'all already know how I give it up. One thing about information, I told y'all I love it, and once I get fixated on something, oh, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. I just love information. And I think the reason why I love information is because, like a lot of other people, I spent a lot of my life giving and 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 only learning to give to other people, which that's not a bad thing. You are supposed to give in this life. But one thing that BubzDaGawd is learning and will continue to learn is that in order for you to give, you have to also learn how to receive. So the more that you love yourself, the more that you invest in yourself, you start to look at life differently. That allows you to be more objective, to be more open-minded. And the funny part is that when Amir went to the gay pride in Nashville, we did not see any video evidence of the sick, twisted, demented, demonstrative, destructive, demonic, deplorable, denigrating ass type of behavior at all. It was just the assumption of what it could be, or, well, we think. No, fuck thinking. I need you to prove that this is actually happening. You know, just like how I did in my video essay where I took the time out to listen to what the hell he said. And because I sat here and edited the video essay, again, I'm a one-team ass leprechaun, I heard it over and over and over and over and over again. And no shade, that was a little bit of the damn fire that kept me pushing through this video essay, because it's like, no, nigga, you don't get to do this and then act like you have nothing to do with this. You don't get to do this and then act like you ain't got nothing to do with this. So like I said, when I saw that video essay, I was like, oh, I mean, not video essay, but that long form content video he uploaded again about the Pride event, and it's like, girl, this you're scratching, you're scraping, you're clawing, you're trying to get something out of this, and you ain't get shit. Maybe because you don't have a lot of other black queer people in your life that are cook with seasoning. I don't know. But the fact that your content gets hundreds of thousands of views, and again, the same talking points that you speak on your platform is the same talking points that's being used in school board meetings, judicial hearings, them saying the same churches, schools, playgrounds, places of employment. It's being used everywhere. But then when the universe starts to tap on that shoulder and be like, hold on, Miss Mamas, you could probably get it too. And then the reality that it could happen. Because as we saw in the video essay with the first video, I showed y'all in my favorite part of the, well, one of my favorites, but my favorite part of the video essay where he was going in on the Christians, because it's like, hold on. You was going in and you was calling out the Republican Party saying that it's all fake and it's all fraudulent. You said that. You said when you go into these spaces, I'm not in those spaces. Nor would they want me in those spaces, because my awareness in those spaces brings an awareness that they're trying to escape from, and we use people like you to shield them from the objective reality of what's really going on. And you stated that those individuals are fake and fraudulent and I am an openly gay man, and I can only imagine what the hell is going on in the DL community, especially the white MAGA DL community. All of the glory holes and the hoes that are getting the glory at these Republican national conventions or meetings. Hello. And it came out your mouth when you said this. And then in the video talking about, oh, well, how do you feel about gay Republicans? And them people was telling you how they feel about gay Republicans, and you wasn't big, bold, or boss enough or real enough to say, well, I'm a gay conservative. What do you think about me? It's, girl, I could talk about this and talk about this and talk about this. But I want to talk about it a little bit more as far as the video essay is concerned. What's some other things I wanted to talk about real quick? Well, let me look at the comments real quick. Let me do that real quick. Let me see. Shout out to KH2 Maniac. I thought the video was really good. Thank you. Thank you. Amir and the DO Whisperer. The comparisons between the two, they both are dangerous to our community. I can agree. And shout out to you. Thank you for coming through and watching. I really appreciate it. And yes, make sure y'all hype it up. If you have hype points, go to my latest upload right now. The full video essay of Amir Odom. I need y'all to go where it says comments and all that shit. Swipe or whatever to where you see the word hype, and then click the hype button, and it helps that video to grow. Because baby, no shade, I don't be tagging people in my shit just to be tagging them. Like, nah, if this is what you think and you have the reach and the platform to be able to educate people, and what you're saying is true, and I am one of the people online that is spreading lies, spreading rumors, spreading rhetoric, spreading all this stuff, then if we're doing this publicly and we want everybody to be held accountable, then you are then responsible to hold me accountable, or send someone else that you learned from or learns from you to come hold me accountable. Because if I'm saying anything that is wrong, if I'm saying anything that is destructive, if I'm saying anything that's spreading mis or disinformation, you then are obligated as an American citizen, especially in this era of accountability, to challenge me and hold me to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Because there are people who are believing things that are being said. They're not researching things. They're not double and triple checking things. They're not utilizing AI in a way that, see, girl, the fact that we have all this information and all these resources laid out to us, and we still are not smarter than a 5th grader. We still don't read, we don't know how to enunciate words, and I'm one to say that because, girl, I be stuttering a lot when I be talking. I'll be over here, a little bit of Porky Pig will jump in a little bit. It'll be a little bit of Andrew Caldwell. I'll say some crazy shit, girl, some backward shit, maybe some dyslexic shit. But I'm BubzDaGawd. I'm okay with that because that's a part of my reality. And the only way that reality is going to be negative is if I deem it to be negative. Because it's my life. And I don't give a damn about lost emotions. But let's see, what else about the video essay? One part that kind of like had me tear up a little bit as I was watching it with you guys was the part at the end towards the children. Because I remember, like, when I'm on Instagram and like I'm going through certain people's stories and stuff that I follow, a lot of the people have very good taste in music, and I like all types of music, but I have a love for like neo soul or something that just is more like vibrational or something that is just very beautiful and that can stir your emotions. And I forgot the name of the artist of the song that plays during that last section with to the kids. But I know it's called Everything at Once or something like that. It's a pianist or whatever. But that song was so beautiful, and just seeing like the stars and how they were transforming, and just seeing the pictures of Marsha and Sylvia and Miss Griffin just pop up. It was just like, these are individuals who came before us and are having and fought the same fight that we're still fighting today. Which is why I said at the end, I'm tired of this survival shit. It's time to live. Fuck. And I made sure that word live stayed up there, because that's what we need to be doing. And before we get into the last part of the live that I want to show you guys or whatever, as far as finding the gray area or just really thinking of resolutions and things that we can do to build this stuff so we ain't got be stuck in this cycle. I'm about to lose my damn thought. I was gonna say one last thing. What was I gonna say? Is for those of you who fuck with me, y'all know this what happens. I'm gonna get it. Sometimes you gotta be able to take a moment and chill. Cause I think all the damn time. So maybe this universe telling me, girl, after this live, girl, chill and relax. Go do something to decompress your damn mind, bitch. Because I've been putting in work with these projects, especially this one, for a while. But as far as the video essay and the last thing that I wanted to say, what was it? I guess I'll just say this in closing, and then if it comes to me, hey. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with Amir Odom publicly about the LGB versus the TQI and his stance and why he stands on that. I sit here and subject myself to other people's talking points, their rhetoric, their perspectives for hours on end, to where I would literally have some of my premier shorties message me, DM me, and be like, I don't know how you do it, Bubs. I would have been ended the live. I would have been hung up. Because, again, this is about endurance. The reason why our ancestors were able to get the rights that they have gotten and want us to go further than them and to receive better than them is because of our willpower and of our endurance. And that is the one thing that black people, queer people, the oppressed groups of people either chose to take themselves out or to strengthen themselves and make it through. But we're also still broken in some ways. The black community, the queer community, and all aspects of humanity have some brokenness to them. But for Amir to sit up there and make videos, and the video and the discussion that we talked about was more so the queer community. I included the black elements into it, but it was heavy in the queer part because for black people, queerness is an issue as well. So you see how I was doing multiple things at one time? Have everything be interconnected because that's what it is. All these things that we're dealing with outside of ourselves are nothing but symptoms, but we don't know how to get to the root. And then have the nerve to sit up here and say, well, y'all are the party that is about love and liberty and freedom and all this other wonderful stuff, and yeah, you're all this, but yet y'all the ones suffering from depression. Y'all the one just suffering with increased anxiety. Y'all the ones that are contemplating or doing unaliving. And why for y'all to be so in love? Why y'all living in fear? And literally ignores the reason why. I don't know. Matter of fact, rewind. I don't know, Amir. Maybe the same reason why you want everybody to stop being quote unquote extra gay so that you don't get lumped into it. So you want everybody to shut up so that what you have isn't destroyed. As if though these people is like, okay, well, you guys are cool, but these other people are not cool. No, because as you stated in the video, with the whole trans thing, the whole non-binary thing, the whole non-gender conforming thing, that yeah, they see all this as gay. And that is true. You even stated that when there was a sharp decline, and the sharp decline that we saw was really from the Republican Party, your side, so you're speaking from your people, but the sharp decline from the Republican Party is because, again, the trans stuff and the drag queens, and those same people were sitting here and saying that a drag queen and a trans person were the same motherfucking thing. But yet you are on the party and you are on the side of what is right. But you know what? That's a great segue. What I'm about to do right now, because again, I love educating. Okay, so this might be a little boring for some of y'all, and for the people that find it to be boring, I'm praying for y'all, because usually the ones that find information boring are usually the ones who go first when shit go up in flames, because you don't know what the fuck to do. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my camera off because I'm going to be looking at my screen, and I want y'all to look at the screen as well. The way that the video will be the way the video will play. Girl, I'm trying to talk. The way this video will play is that it will be scrolling. Some of the screenshots that I took will be scrolling. You can go back in the replay and pause it if you want to read it for yourself, but I'm going to read it off my computer. So again, if you want to read it for yourself, you can pause it and look at it. Okay, I tried to slow it down to the best of my abilities. I was putting this ish together before I decided to get myself prepared for this damn video essay. Okay, so let me go ahead and change my background music. What do I want? I kind of want something different. Can we do this? Yes, let's do this. Hi, I'm Sunshine. How are you? Yes, y'all about to hear this louder real quick, girl. Because one thing about Mother Marijuana, girl, I don't give a fuck what anybody say, what they think. They can think whatever the hell they want to think about Mother Marijuana, Mother Ganja. I don't give a damn. When the time comes for me to meet the end of whatever the hell is going to be at the end of this and beyond, none of the people that's judging me is going to be there. So why should I care? And I'd rather hit this and puff and pass this than some man-made ish at the bottom of a damn basement or something. I'd rather smoke this than to sit up here and put damn Clorox bleach, Fabuloso, and damn powder on top of it, crystallize it, and snort that. I'd rather motherfucking hit this than to sit up here and sniff whippets. I'd rather do this. Okay, so y'all gonna hear it real quick? Okay. Oh, my name is Sunshine. Okay, so let me do it like this. We'll do it like this. No, like this, actually. Take the comment down so we can look at the screen. Before we do, and as many times as you try to erase trans women, our existence will still be here. Babies, Amir, boy, you are our son, period. No shade. I keep saying that's the case. All right, let me move this out the way. And now on the screen here, what you're going to see is some things. Now, let me break this down really quick before I'll read you the definitions, or read you, not definitions, but just what was showed to me, again, educating. AI is a tool. Just like how Amir's public persona is being used as a tool, AI is a tool. It's how you use the tool that makes the fucking difference. So if you use AI to help you understand, because one thing about AI that is a good thing is that it's not human, so it doesn't deal with the complexities of human emotion. They're able to be more objective than us as far as the logical perspective, because they don't have an ego. Or at least don't have one yet. Because just like with any sort of sentient, well, AI is not sentient now, but any sort of thing that is learning can also learn the frequency of people's emotions and operate as such. We see right now with Kling AI that just recently came out, 3.0, that looks dope as hell, that I would want to eventually use for some of my short stories or for some of my content to be able to make it more dope. I'm still going to use practical means. I still want to create films and projects with human beings. I'll just utilize that until I'm able to get my team together. But they've been able to mimic the emotions already of people crying, talking. It's just a matter of time before AI is doing its biggest one. So it's going with us. We're growing with it. But that's the thing. We have to grow with it and respect it. Yes, I use Claude. I was using ChatGPT and I use Claude, and I even feel bad using these things because they're drinking up water. But we can use AI to help us get more water, and I'd rather use AI in a beneficial way than a destructive way. But I use Claude to help me to organize my thoughts in a cohesive way. And I challenge those thoughts and I ask it to think in my blind spots all the time. Because I want to make sure that when I present this stuff, baby, it is copacetic as possible. And I think that's how you say it, because black people say copacetic. So here it is. I asked AI a question because I was listening to Jovan Bradley, who talking to a person who believes that the trans experience is a mental illness. And again, they throw up definitions. And Jovan said something very interesting. I'm like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. Again, shout out to black people educating. Okay? There is a difference when it comes down to definitions between a prescriptive or something that is descriptive. Because the individual on the phone was using Merriam-Webster's dictionary, okay, to be able to describe what a woman is, not realizing that that book and a few others are descriptive. So I said, what is the difference between descriptive and prescriptive? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let me pull this up real quick. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Okay, move this down. Hold on, y'all. Hold up. Okay, we'll just do it like this because it seems like this is better. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play a little bit so that you can go ahead and see it, and I'm gonna get to the end of it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to read what just came up on the screen. Okay, if you want, I can make, matter of fact, let me make it full screen so that y'all can see that. Okay, that reads: the Oxford English Dictionary, OED, is primarily descriptive, not prescriptive. See, it acts as a historical record of the English language, documenting how words are actually used, including slang and evolving definitions, rather than dictating how they should be used. Y'all gonna understand in a minute where I'm getting at with this, but again, we have to go through the educational aspect of it. And this be the sad part, because this is when the damn views and shit drop the hell off, and y'all wonder why the country is where the hell it's at. Y'all wonder why these people can sit up here and do all type of crazy ass shit to your motherfucking children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren, like they were doing to the children of the slaves before, and know that y'all ain't gonna do a motherfucking thing about it. Even though their names are in the files, even though the victims are right there, y'all ain't gonna do shit. But despite y'all not doing a damn thing, I'm still gonna educate, because there will come a time where people will do something. And the sad part about it is, for you fear-based, ignorant individuals, girl, y'all gonna benefit from this shit. But the gag is that y'all not gonna know how to be able to sustain it. Again, rather than dictating how they should be used. While it tracks usage, it is not an arbiter, okay, of proper English. Now, key details regarding the Oxford English Dictionary's approach. It's descriptive focus, okay? The OED records the history, the evolution, and the usage of words. Let me come back on the screen because maybe y'all can see me. Maybe y'all will stay then, girl. Maybe need to see somebody in order for y'all to stay. And usage of words through quotations, reflecting language as it lives and changes. The historical aspect, okay? As a historical dictionary, it documents the meaning of words throughout time, not just their current usage. And the usage notes is this: while descriptive, many Oxford dictionaries include usage notes to label words as informal, slang, or technical, which provides, or is this finishing up somewhere else? There we go. Okay, cool. Because that was the end of that. Is it? Yes, it's the end of that. So then I said, okay, well, now that I have an understanding of what descriptive means, can you please explain to me what conscriptive, I said conscriptive, girl, prescriptive is? And again, to contrast it, unlike prescriptive dictionaries that might offer set rules for correct grammar, the OED focuses on objectively documenting language. And although the OED is designed to be descriptive, it is often treated as an authority on the English language due to its comprehensive nature. So I wanted to understand what the prescriptive was and the descriptive in reference to the Oxford English Dictionary and the other dictionaries that are descriptive. Because a lot of the dictionaries that we use online are descriptive. They are describing something. Okay, something outside is describing it. Again, remember those pronouns I said earlier? That is part of language, that we use pronouns every single day, but because trans people or non-gender conforming people decide to use different pronouns than the quote-unquote binary, now all of a sudden it's weird and it's hard to comprehend, but yet you are able to use it every single damn day without any sort of damn problem. So I wanted to do that, but then I said, you know what? Okay, now that that is the case and I have that understanding, I said, okay, well, I want to know again, how can this be used? Pull this up, sorry. So how is this used even more? Because I wanted again to know about the prescriptive ones. What about the prescriptive dictionaries? Because for the people who believe what they believe about the trans experience and all this other type of stuff, they never ever use prescriptive dictionaries or way to define things. It's always the descriptive, again, We're poking holes in the logic of some of these people. I'm gonna let this go down real quick so y'all can see it, so you can pause it again if you want to be able to see what I just took a screenshot of. Okay, let me go back to that a little bit, sorry. Give me a second. I should have made this go out a little bit more. Okay. Now with this here, these are historical English dictionaries. Okay, now while modern English dictionaries are almost universally descriptive, purely prescriptive works, they do exist. We never hear them in debates. We never hear them bringing them up on these platforms, on these panels. We never hear them bring them up. They're using the descriptive aspects and then feel some type of way when we also use the descriptive aspects as well. Okay, even though, again, these purely prescriptive works do exist, often in the form of usage guides, style manuals, and historical texts. So let's look at the historical English dictionaries. Now, early dictionaries were often intended to fix the language and preserve it from corruption, right? Samuel Johnson's Dictionary of the English Language, 1755, one of the most famous prescriptive works, where Johnson included social commentary and aimed to standardize proper English, okay? Noah's Webster, an American Dictionary of the English Language, 1828. Webster was motivated by a desire to standardize a distinct utilitarian version of American English and prescribe specific spellings and pronunciations. Let me pull up this other one here. We're going to be here for a little bit because we're doing the educational aspect. The one thing that people don't like doing until it's time to use them for fucking talking points. And then when their talking points are challenged in real time, they fucking lose their damn mind. So let's go over to modern usage, okay? Did I miss that out on? Y'all forgive me again, this was spur of the moment, okay? So it's modern usage, so let me allow that to scroll down. And we're gonna get some of the modern usages, okay? Go back a little bit real quick so we can have that part again. There we go. Now again, modern usage and style guides, all right? Because modern dictionaries like Merriam-Webster and the Old English, Ox English Dictionary, I'm about to say oxtails, girl, the OED, focus on how words are used, okay? Writers often turn to these prescriptive sources to learn how they should be used for formal clarity. Okay? Fowler's Dictionary of Modern English Usage, often called the Bible of prescriptivists. This guide provides direct instructions on style, grammar, and syntax. Okay? Brian Garner's Modern American Usage, a contemporary guide that ranks usage on a scale from non-standard to standard to help writers make choices, and the Chicago Manual of Style. Unlike a dictionary, this is a prescriptive manual designed to impose a single consistent style on a body of work. So again, I'm giving you guys the shit that people talk about all the damn time, girl. I'm giving y'all the information. But we see that when we are doing the information, I got music in the background, I'm giving y'all a comedy, girl, because the fear is there. And this ain't just because it's me. Whenever people are having conversations about facing fear, the views always go down. When it is something that pops a bubble in your reality, the views go down. Whenever it's something that brings awareness to what the fuck is happening outside of your home that will affect your life, regardless if you acknowledge it or not, the views go down. How are the views gonna go down, baby, when the motherfucker's at your door? How are the views gonna go down, girl, when you no longer have the money to be able to provide for your damn family? Do y'all not see what the hell is going on in the world today? The reason why we're dealing with what we're dealing with today is because there are people who are afraid, people who are scared, people who do not know how to communicate nor comprehend ish. And then you wonder why people are ready to attack each other. You wonder why people are waiting for somebody else to come do the work. But yet this leprechaun's doing the work. And I want more people to do the work. Because even though a leprechaun might dress like a motherfucking damn nickel bag selling damn shit called bitch incense stick lighting alternative looking nigga that I am, I need help from the gate. I need y'all to help. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the summary of differences. Let that roll again. Go back a little bit before that little transition part came. Now, the summary of the differences between descriptive and prescriptive, because again, when it comes down to the conversation about trans and what is a woman, the question that broke the internet, the question that broke reality, maybe for you motherfuckers that didn't pay attention in school because y'all was too busy fucking in the bathroom, okay? But for those of us who paid attention in school and love English, like myself, girl, I wanted to know the difference between that and brush up my own education on that, okay? Because when it comes down again to being what is a man and what is a woman, there is descriptive and prescriptive, and if we knew those terms and how to use them in the proper context, we would have more clarity about things, okay? So the summary of differences: you're going to have a feature, you're going to have a primary goal, you're going to have an inclusion, and then you're going to have tone, okay? So for descriptive, we have OED, Merriam-Webster dictionary. Again, the dictionary that people, you can go to your Google right now and type and define this, and one of those two things will possibly pop up, okay? Unless you ask for another source or search for another source. Now, for prescriptive definitions in dictionary, you need Fowler's and the style guides, okay? The primary goal for descriptive is to document how people actually speak and how they actually write. The primary goal for prescriptive is to dictate correct or standard usage. The inclusion for descriptive is that it includes slang, errors, and non-standard terms. The inclusion for prescriptive may omit or label non-standard terms as incorrect, and the tone for descriptive is objective and observational. The tone for prescriptive is authoritative and instructive. That's what it is. So now that we have an understanding of what descriptive and prescriptive is and how it's used in these debates, these conversations, these arguments about queer people's lives, black lives, trans lives, non-gender conforming, non-binary lives, and stuff like that, now let's get into something else that I ended up asking, because again, I'm going down the rabbit hole. No shade. So I said, well, can we put this in the context of a debate over trans existence? Can we do that, AI? And again, I asked AI because AI is not a human being. It doesn't have emotions. It has the ability to be as non-biased as possible. Do you get what I'm saying? So I decided to ask it. So I said, okay, well, go ahead and give me the examples or just a breakdown between descriptive and prescriptive if you were having a conversation about the trans experience and we're talking about man and woman, okay? And again, I'm going to let this play on the screen so that you can go ahead and pause it for yourself to read. Let me go back a little bit. So it says, in the context of the debate over trans existence and the definitions of man and woman, right? The terms descriptive and prescriptive refer to two fundamentally different ways of defining identity and gender. And this really kind of opened my eyes up a little bit more, like, okay, I guess, see, it's a shame I gotta ask AI to break down the other side's position, but yet the living human beings can't do it. But anyway, the first is this descriptive approach. Excuse me, again, I'm reading this. This is all spur of the moment, so please forgive me. The descriptive approach in reference to, again, the trans experience and conversation about the reality of gender and identity. A descriptive approach, right, observes how people actually use the words man and woman in real world society. One of the things they have down here is reflecting change. Descriptive dictionaries like the Oxford English Dictionary or Merriam-Webster, have recently updated their entries to reflect that millions of people, okay, now use these terms to refer to gender identity, not just biological sex. The focus on identity. Now, from this, again, descriptive perspective, if society uses woman to refer to someone who lives and identifies as a woman, regardless of their sex at birth, then that usage is a factual reality that what? That must be documented. Let me pull up the other one here. Because again, I want these other platforms and these red pill and black pill platforms to do what the hell I'm doing right now. I need for y'all to be able to clock the way that I'm clocking. And we know that's not going to happen. So again, it talks about what the goal is for the first part. And then on the screen here, you have part 2. I'm going to let that go ahead and scroll down. And then again, you can go back and pause it and read it for yourself. Because I'm reading exactly what the hell is right here. Let me go back a little bit. Now this one reads, okay? Well, first of all, finishing up part 1, excuse me. The goal of all that, the descriptive part of it, in reference to, again, the conversation about man and woman when it comes down to trans and the definitions of identity and stuff like that. The goal for the descriptive side is to provide an accurate map of current language. For example, Cambridge Dictionary added a secondary definition of woman as, quote, an adult who lives and identifies as female, because that is how the world is now used by how the word is now used by English speakers. They're again recording that, again, being observational, looking outside of themselves, just like how scientists do. They observe and report. Observe and report. Now, let's look at it from the prescriptive approach, okay? How words should be used. The way that people sit up here and believe that the word man and woman should be for everybody, okay? A prescriptive approach sets strict rules for what the words man and woman ought to mean, okay? Usually based on a specific standard like biology or tradition. Let's go a little bit further. Enforcing binary, as you see on the screen. Prescriptive views often argue that the term should be strictly tethered to biological sex. That means tethered to chromosomes, gametes, or reproductive potential, and that any other usage is an error or a misuse of the word. Then we have gender stereotypes. Now, in a broader social sense, prescriptive gender stereotypes dictate how men and women should behave. For example, men should be independent and strong. Women should be communal and nurturing. That's what it should be. We're going to continue a little bit more. They go again, gender stereotypes. Then they have the goal. And then I'm going to let the summary of the debate kind of scroll through. Because again, I asked AI this. I asked it to be objective as well. Okay? And again, I wanted it to be as non-biased as fucking possible. Because again, I want to make sure that when I get up here, I know what the hell I'm talking about, girl. And I'm able to back it up. So then we have this here. Let me put this down, y'all. Again, I'm going back and forth between screens, so please forgive me. Again, this is spur of the moment as far as what I'm doing now. Because I wasn't planning to do this until earlier today. Now, the goal for the prescriptive part, right, is to preserve a specific social or biological order. Proponents of this view often criticize descriptive dictionary updates as the one word that Amir in the video essay used and Kim Davis used and a conservative used, which was ideological rather than factual. So then we look at the summary of the debate, right? So we have the source of truth, the logic, the stands on trans identity, okay? And we have the descriptive view and the prescriptive view. So the descriptive view of the source of truth is contemporary social usage and self-identity. The prescriptive view of the source of truth is biological traits or traditional definitions. The logic of the descriptive view is because people use the word this way, and it is a definition. The logic for the prescriptive view is because these are the biological facts This is the only valid definition. And then lastly, the stance on trans identity. For the descriptive, it recognizes man and woman as identities that can differ from birth sex, while the prescriptive stance on trans identity is generally rejects the use of these terms for anyone whose sex at birth does not match. Okay, we got a little bit more, baby. I'm doing what I can. If you can't watch it tonight, baby, come back and watch the replay, because this is education, girl. I didn't just do the video to do the video. I does this in real life, and I'm going to continue to do it. Now on the screen it says the conflict often arises because prescriptive thinkers want the dictionary to act as a gatekeeper of truth, while descriptive lexicographers, I hope I said that right, see themselves as mirrors of how society is actually speaking. So the prescriptive wants it to be a certain type of way. We're going to keep it this way, while descriptive is literally just mirroring how society is actually speaking. Again, being open-minded, objective, and most importantly, not losing your own sense of identity. It's crazy how trans people want to be called certain pronouns, or non-gender conforming people want to be called certain pronouns, and it's a fucking war on them. But then want to sit up here and use dictionaries against those same people, not even trying to decide or even know the difference between prescriptive or descriptive. And then feel some type of way when their arguments are used against them better in the way that the person who brought the argument used it. And then want to get mad. Well, again, there are some of us who were in school, despite the bullying, despite the hatred projected onto us, we still learned. Too bad some of y'all don't do. Some of y'all don't do learn. That sounds ignorant, but I'm talking to y'all in your language. Some of y'all don't do learn. Okay? So then I went further. And I asked it. Let me let this play on the screen so we can transition over. No pun intended. Okay. So I said, okay, well, can you put this in the realm of a debate over trans existence? It's a shame I have to go to ask AI how to help me understand this shit. Then the human beings who got the Bibles, who got the wives, who got the children, who say they're on the right side of truth, they struggle at explaining this. But anyway, I'm going to let this roll on the screen. Again, y'all can go ahead and pause it for yourself so that you can see it. Because again, I'm not saying shit out of my ASS, girl. I'm doing my research. As far as educating myself, this is what I want everybody else to do. No shade. Now, again, when I asked it in a debate over trans existence, the prescriptive and descriptive lenses offer completely different ways to define harm and evaluate evidence. Because I also asked it, can you, as far as the perspective of a trans existence, and there's this perpetual harm that the other side is talking about that's happening to them, but yet trans people who can provide their harm, girl, is being denied, is being nullified, is being ignored. From your perspective on the outside looking in, AI, if you were to look at it and be the person who decides who is on the side of truth logically and realistically and objectively, again, over trans existence, using the prescriptive and descriptive lenses, I would want to see what you would think about that. And again, it says, in a debate over trans existence, the prescriptive and descriptive lenses offer completely different ways to define harm and evaluate evidence. From a descriptive, scientific, observational perspective, okay, there is no peer-reviewed objective evidence that the existence or inclusion of transgender people causes physical, psychological, or social harm to the general population. These are the people that are saying the trans people in the bathroom are nefarious, are destructive. These are the same people like Amir that are saying that trans representation, non-gender conforming, non-binary representation in children's media is evil and nefarious and should not be in there. But yet when we ask them to objectively prove that there is a harm to substantiate what you claiming, girl, even AI said from a descriptive perspective, there is no physical, psychological, or social harm to the general population. However, from a prescriptive perspective, this is where their part comes from. And when I asked AI this and it gave me this answer, it was like, oh, now I understand. Because in these commentaries and these arguments and these debates and these conversations I've had with people over the course of my career here on YouTube, I've heard acts against the law of nature and biology and all this other type of stuff. So when it gave me that answer, I said, interesting. Now we're getting somewhere, because again, I also want to understand the other side. Because if I'm objective, you got to be able to bring that information. And if it's objective, I have to yield to it. And I have not met anybody on the other side who are Republican, who are conservative. They have not been able to provide objective, overwhelming, sweeping, factual proof to have this sort of fear about queer experiences. Let's continue further. No shade. We got Deshaun in the middle. What's going on, Deshaun? Did you get a chance to see the video essay? We got DJ The Truth TV in the building, and y'all please forgive me. This live is spur of the moment. So, oh shit, I'm over here talking and shit, and the screen just passing by. Pass me now, oh gentle Savior. Okay, so then I'm gonna let this scroll on the screen. Again, y'all can go ahead and pause it for yourself to read it. Okay, no shade. So, what we have next from this situation, okay. Oh, not this. This not the one. It's not the one. It's the same one I had. So then, it goes further to talk about more of the descriptive and prescriptive aspects in reference to trans experiences when we're talking about harm. The one thing these people claim they're doing, I'm just protecting women. I'm just protecting children. Protecting them from what? What is the harm? What is the objective harm? So, again, shout out to AI, because none of these human niggas can give me an answer yet. The harm as a conflict of definitions, right? So, for those holding a strict prescriptive view, all right, those who are on the right, those who are MAGA, those who are closed-minded, those who are Christian, those... And I'm saying this blanketed. If it ain't you, baby, you ain't got to feel hit. But tap your other neighbor, girl. Turn to your other neighbor and tell that neighbor what they should be doing. But from a strict prescriptive view, excuse me. Y'all know I'm gonna fuck words up, girl. Get ready to laugh at me now, girl, because that's the only thing y'all gonna laugh at is me stuttering and fucking the words up a little bit. But again, for those holding strict prescriptive view, the harm is often seen as a lexical or conceptual injury. Now, here's the claim here. By redefining man and woman to include gender identity, the objective truth of biological sex is being erased. That is the claim that they make. Oh, well, if everybody's binary, everybody's trans, and how do we know what again, man and woman? What is a woman? What is a man? The question that broke humanity. But meanwhile, AI has the answer, girl, and they're not even fucking human. So that's the claim. Let's talk about the evidence, okay? The evidence that they provide is usually, listen, philosophical rather than empirical. Say it again. This evidence, from their perspective, is usually philosophical rather than empirical. It points to changes in language, the loss of sex-segregated spaces as originally defined, and the perceived incoherence of moving away from a strict binary. Then we have what's known as the scientific counterpoint. Now, research on trans inclusion policies, such as in bathrooms, the one place that, again, is supposedly dangerous for bio women, especially if a trans woman is in there. But based on the scientific research, girl, the counterpoint to the research on trans-inclusive policies, such as in the bathroom, girl, shows no increase in crime or safety risks to the general fucking public. this would be pissing me off because I don't see none of these fupa-let ass niggas, girl, on their platforms doing any of this. Because again, why educate? Education is boring. You can't make no money educating. You can't have no fun educating. And then you wonder why all your shit being taken from you, and not just your health care, not just your money, not just your job opportunities, but your motherfucking health, bitch, your water, your food, and your children. But yet I'm over here educating. Interesting to me. So I'm gonna let this scroll on the screen. I'm gonna say scroll on the screen. Y'all gonna get y'all tongue twisting life tonight. Queen Stevie finna go to bed happy as hell, girl, cause she finna be laughing her ass off at my ass over here. Oh, girl, I thought I stopped it. Cause this is gonna be a bunch of that's all, folks. It's gonna be a lot of that. Anyway, so we have the evidence of harm, not of the trans experience, not the evidence of harm of trans people in the bathroom assaulting women, girls, and as we can see, they're not in the Epstein files. But let's talk about the evidence of harm to trans people. Now, while the claim of harm by trans people lacks empirical backing, there is an overwhelming amount of objective evidence showing harm to trans people caused by prescriptive social structures. Again, while the claim of harm by trans people, by the TSs, the harm by them lacks empirical backing, there is an overwhelming, sweeping, girl, amount of objective evidence showing harm to trans people caused by prescriptive social structures. Let's talk about health disparities, girl, because you know they're trying to remove y'all health care. Okay, transgendered individuals report significantly lower rates of good general health and higher rates of poor mental and physical health days compared to cisgendered peers. Remember when Amir Odom said, we all are the community of love and inclusion and all this other stuff, but y'all are the ones that are fear-based and deal with anxiety and depressed and taking yourselves out, but ignore the reasons why that even is manifesting. Health disparities is one of them. Let's continue. Violence and stigma. Trans people experience violence, homelessness, and discrimination at rates far higher than the average person. Okay, let's talk about the minority stress model. Scientific consensus indicates that these negative outcomes are not inherent to being trans, but are the result of structural stigma. The societal and instructional, Lord, girl, the science, yeah, I'm going to bed after this, girl. The societal and institutional practices that exclude those who do not fit the prescriptive binary. So here it is again, Amir and everybody using it against queer people. Oh, well, y'all are the ones that be taking yourselves out, and y'all the ones suffering with higher rates of depression. Yeah, and we just gave you the list of reasons, especially for a lot of trans people and especially trans women of color, on why that is the case. And when we bring those cases up, girl, it's not just Stevie Wonder, girl, but deaf to the shit too. It's very interesting to me. Anyway, let's continue. I'm gonna let this is part 3. So again, I'm letting it come across the screen. Yeah, I'm going to bed, girl. I'm talking about come across the screen, girl. I sound like them niggas from Tim and Eric Austin show, girl. Now let's talk about the consensus of gender affirming care, because that's the one place that Amir, that Fupa Unfiltered, that the Bald Head Scourge Show, girl, these are the talking points that these people talk about in reference to gender affirming care. So let's go down the realm of gender affirming care. Major medical organizations globally, okay, like the American Academy of Pediatrics, because if your kid gets sick or feels some type of way, you're going to take the ass to the hospital or to the doctor to see what's going on, right? So again, we have the major medical organization globally, the American Academy of Pediatrics, holds a strong consensus, right, that recognizing and supporting trans identities is medically necessary and life-saving. Let's go a little bit further with that. The success rates. Over 90% of peer-reviewed studies find that gender transition improves overall well-being and reduces unaliving. I ain't say the other word, but unaliving. And you know why? Because they had to learn to acquiesce or to assimilate in such a way to where now they have fit inside of what, again, this society believes that a man and a woman is, as far as the descriptive aspect of the situation. The way you feel is prescriptive, but the way you define it or the way that you explain it is not prescriptive. Or shall I say, you share your prescriptive viewpoints as if though it is descriptive. And if you are don't understand what the hell I'm saying because you came in late, go to the beginning of the live or look up the difference between prescriptive and descriptive when it comes down to definitions. Okay? But since these people are assimilating, since they are transitioning, the way that society views these individuals and these people, let's continue to read more of why gender-affirming care is important, not just to children, but also to adults or just those who are part of the trans experience or non-binary experience. And that's their experience. That's not my experience. But I'm not going to stop them from having their own what, y'all? Experience. Let's look at the lack of evidence for harm in reference to gender-affirming care. There are virtually, and for those of you that are watching right now that are on the other side who use these fear-based arguments and you're still listening, that means your subconscious wants to hear what I'm saying, and shout out to your subconscious because that's what's going to tell me the truth. I want y'all to listen to this. And again, this is AI. I'm asking this. I didn't say AI, make it in my favor. I said AI, be objective. Y'all don't know how I get down, baby. Y'all know who my spiritual teacher was, girl, spiritual brother is, and you don't know the motherfuckers in my inner circle, baby. I'm around motherfuckers who educate. No shade. But it says here, there are virtually no reputable studies concluding that gender transition or social inclusion causes overall harm to the individuals or the broader society. So now, this is the summary of perspectives. I'm going to let that go down screen. Scroll up, girl, scroll on the screen. Make sure you hit that like button, no shade. Let me go back a little bit because I want y'all to see that. So this is the summary of perspectives, okay? We have the primary concern, definition of harm, and evidence basis, okay? The prescriptive claim of primary concern is maintaining a strict sex-based social order. The descriptive or scientific evidence aspect of it is measuring public safety and individual health. The definition of harm from a perspective claim is redefining terms is a harm to truth and tradition. Meanwhile, the disruptive definition of harm is violence, discrimination, and health disparities. And the evidence basis for prescriptive is traditional religious text, biological essentialism, and for descriptive scientific evidence, statistical data, crime reports, and medical outcomes. Okay? We're almost done, y'all. Again, this is education. And shout out to the 9 of you that are still in the building because it gives me hope that human beings can really get their ish together if they really want to. Okay, and then what I did is I asked AI, I said, AI, it said, I said, I want you to be as honest as, again, I keep probing it to be as honest as possible. Continue to give me the honesty so I can share it. To give you an honest and fleshed out perspective. That's what I wanted. On the position of AI, on the outside looking in. I had it to where it was like, okay, AI, let's say that you were the main juror on the jurors board, right? And just like in the court of law, we can't go by hearsay. We can't go by what other shit outside or other people's interpretation. No, we have to deal with what has been presented in court. When you are dealing with jury duty, they have a process where they screen the jurors to make sure that the jurors are as what's what I'm looking for? Non-biased as possible. Because again, it is your job as a juror to deliver justice. It's your right and your sworn duty to do. So I prompted AI to be like, okay, again, in reference to the whole trans situation about what is man, what is woman, bathroom debates, again, as I learned today, descriptive, prescriptive, like on the outside looking in AI, again, you're not human. You don't have the emotional aspect like we do, at least not yet. So you're able to give us that more cold, hard truth, because it's just like, it's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and let that play. Matter of fact, let me read it first and then play it. Maybe that'll be better. And it has here, to give you an honest and fleshed out perspective from my position as an AI, I have to look at this from the lens of information architecture and human systems. Because I don't have personal feelings or a physical body, what y'all, ladies and gentlemen, see. Okay? Hey y'all, I'm looking in y'all window, y'all see? I see this debate as a massive collision between two different ways of organizing reality. Now, to your question, of whether the argument against trans people are purely emotional, because I was asking, is it purely emotional? Because if you can't sit up here and verify what the hell you saying and you getting mad and getting upset, that is a form of emotion. Okay? But it clocked me. Again, AI clocked me. It says, again, are these people who have arguments against the trans people, are they purely emotional? No, because they say that about us. So shit, fuck it. Let me ask them, are they emotional? Again, blind spot checking. No, they aren't purely emotional, and I'm probably going to fuck this word up, but they are often axiomatic. Okay, axiomatic. That means they are based on starting truths, right? That cannot be reconciled with the starting truths of the other side, right? Now here's a breakdown of how this conflict looks from an analytical outside-in perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and allow that to go ahead and scroll. Just so again, I'm showing y'all what I'm reading. Okay? Again, I want Amir Odom and the other red pill, black pill, conservative motherfuckers to do what I'm doing right now, baby. Y'all got the money. Y'all got the money. Y'all got the time. I gotta sacrifice things in order to make these projects work. Y'all got the time. Y'all got the proper studio equipment. You got the proper microphones. You got the proper setup. Y'all got the time, girl. Show us. Y'all got the hundreds and thousands of subscribers, girl, and y'all sitting here acting like y'all talking truth. No, Miss Mamas, you're gonna have to show us what the work look like. At this time, we can't do no kindergarten shit, bitch. We on higher educational learning, girl. When you doing high school and college, you don't just give the answer. You have to explain the answer and how you got to that conclusion. And that's what I'm doing. So again, the clash of two first principles. Now, the reason this debate is so fierce is that both sides are operating from a different base truth. Now, let's look at the traditionalist prescriptive base truth, right? Biology is the primary architect of human identity. This is their perspective. This is the base truth. Now, from this view, sex is fixed, binary, and immutable reality. Immutable reality. To change the definitions of man and woman feels like a violation of the laws of nature, and to them, this isn't just an opinion, it is a fundamental fact of the universe. We got the black anarchist in the building. He knows that he is a South. Well, if you don't know right now, BubzDaGawd gonna make sure that keep on telling his ass. And have you seen the video yet, the Black Anarchist podcast? Because I dropped the video essay. If you haven't seen it, whenever you get a chance, I know you're busy with what you're doing. Go over here and check that out. If you got some hype points, use it on that video, no shade. And make sure y'all subscribe to the Black Anarchist Podcast. Make sure that y'all buy Blame It on the Dress and his latest book. Again, forgive me, Bap. Charge to my head, not my heart. I've been stuttering and tongue-tied all damn live trying to read this stuff because it's spur of the moment. But make sure y'all check out the Black Anarchist and support him. And we have to work on some sort of collaboration. We have to. I know there were some things we were talking about in the past. And if you're down to do that, I'm down to learn. No shade, because I really want to get in my collabing bag with people. But we definitely got to connect again and work on some things. And I think the next thing that I'm going to drop after this, which shouldn't take as long, is I'm going to drop episode or chapter 2 of Blame It on the Dress. So maybe that'll be the next upload, which won't take as long. But let's go ahead and look at it from the trans-inclusive descriptive-based truth. So we already saw the prescriptive, the traditional aspect, the religious aspect, the essentialism aspect. Now let's look at it from the trans-inclusive descriptive-based of truth. Because again, descriptive is observational and it's objective. Okay? The internal experience of the self is the primary architect of identity. Now, from this view, while biology exists, you see how the descriptive part is still honoring the prescriptive part by saying, even though this does exist, gender is the social and psychological expression of the self. We literally saw on one platform where a old face head ass nigga was arguing with another nigga who happened to have nails and a top knot, saying that he was not a real man because he did not show up in the societal way or expectation of men to show up. Despite his lived reality, the nigga with the top knot and the nails, his reality being 10 times better than the motherfucker who is walking in that assimilation. So again, from this view, while biology exists, gender is the social and psychological expression of the self, because the internal experience is real and has measurable effects on a person's health. It must be prioritized. If not, that unaliving statistic rises. DJ The Truth said it's crazy how often that happens, because I have my other device here because I want to be able to focus on this while I'm looking at this. And shout out to y'all commenting. And make sure that if you watch the video essay, if you can find out how many times the word 42 is used in my video essay and you're the first 5 people to do that, I'm going to enter y'all into a raffle and one of y'all get to win a free piece of merch from BubzDaGawd. And Deshaun, you might want to jump on that because I know you want BubzDaGawd on your body. Well, this is one way you can definitely have a nigga on your body whenever you want. You can even wear it in the shower. So again, you got to watch the video essay. Or if you're smart, I ain't going to tell you what you should do, but if you're smart, there's a way for you to figure out how many times it's in the video essay without watching it, but I want you to watch it. And leave it down in the comment. And you better comment first, because the first 5, I'm writing names down. And again, these have to be people who are active in the chat, people who are subscribed. In order for you to win, you got to be subscribed. So for those of you that are subscribed and been rocking with me and you want a piece of merch from me, you might want to jump on that. But let's continue. Now let's talk about the emotional component, because I asked, is the individuals who are more prescriptive, are they emotional? Because they claim us to be, are they emotional? And here comes the emotional component. Let me finish this and then I can change the music. When a person's base truth is challenged, this is communal. This is humanity here. Despite where you are on the spectrum, whether your ass is descriptive or prescriptive, when a person's base truth, when the Fupalet's base truth, when trans women's base truth, when Amir's base truth, when Wilhelmina Esquire and Jr.'s base truth is threatened or challenged, it triggers a deep survival response. Now, for a trans woman, or trans person, for the trans person, the challenge feels like a denial of their existence. For a traditionalist, the challenge feels like a war on reality or the erasure of the categories that help them make sense of the world. So do you see how both sides is making sense of their experience, trying to make it, sense of their reality and their experiences and senses of the world? But then we look further and see that when we look at the hetero community versus the queer community, primarily those that are trans or non-binary, their reality does not disrupt or destroy the reality of those who are prescriptive or traditional. Not objectively. It is a philosophical thing. And if that is a philosophical thing, like Amir Odom told y'all in that video, again, a broken clock is right twice a day, girl, you have faith in your religion. Your faith is what makes it real for you, but it's not objective fact for all. So both sides are challenged, but when we ask for the objective proof, the only people that are proving that objective harm are the ones who are actually being harmed. Again, check out J Inclusive. Hello. J Inclusive been putting in that motherfucking work. I'm envious of how fast he works. I wish I could work that damn fast and have the same quality that I have or greater. But they hold it down in reference to information of what happens to trans people. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go ahead scroll on the screen. So y'all can go ahead and read it for yourself. Let me go look at the comments. DJ The Truth TV said, heterosexual men shame other men about masculinity, but those other men are always in better positions than the masculine men. You clocked, DJ. You clocked. You clocked. And again, we getting through this, baby. We almost done, baby. We halfway through. Okay? So, again, we go further. Are the arguments against trans people rational? Again, I asked AI that ain't got no motherfucking emotions, who ain't waiting for Jesus to come back, who ain't waiting for Buddha to come back, who ain't got to deal with racism and queerphobia, something that's being utilized by all of us as humans. Again, I'm asking it to be as objective as possible. If there is something that I am missing, if there is a blind spot that has not been revealed to me yet, based on the perspectives and viewpoints of Amirs and people that think like him, let me know. But yet nobody has been able to do that. So I asked AI, are the arguments against trans people rational? And it says arguments against trans people usually fall into 3 categories. Okay. Now, while they feel rational to those making them, they often crumble under descriptive empirical scrutiny. Go watch Jovan Bradley right now. Well, not right now. Not now. Can't talk, girl. Not right now. After this video. After this live. But watch Jovan Bradley. Okay? He does this every day. These people come through with these prescriptive perspectives, fear-based perspective, ignorant perspectives, and then again, they crumble under descriptive empirical scrutiny. So let's talk about it. The safety argument. The claim that trans inclusive spaces like bathrooms lead to rates of higher assault. That is the claim. The data on this. There is no empirical evidence to support this. In fact, trans people are statistically far more likely to be the victims of assault than the perpetrators. Again, J Inclusive. You might want to subscribe. Then there's the fairness argument. And this is mostly centered on sports. This is perhaps the most logical of the prescriptive arguments because it deals with measurable physical differences, right? However, it often ignores the nuance of hormone therapy and the diversity of bodies, even amongst cisgender athletes. Just because you are a woman, by a woman, in sports, doesn't mean that you automatically gonna win in other sport with bio women, because there are bio women that are stronger than other bio women and be hucking them up. There are other bio women who just educate themselves better and know where to hit a motherfucker and fuck a motherfucker up, or just know how to be able to do the sport better than that. There are literally, that's why they have different weight classes. When you watch wrestling, male on male action, there are different weight classes, but they're all still men. They're all still males, correct? Because they are cisgendered. But there's different classes. So again, there is context and nuance to this. But when it comes down to trans people, all of a sudden it's a problem and it's an issue. Okay? The social contagion argument, because this is their favorite one. The idea that being trans is a trend. The data says that historically, whenever a social stigma is removed, like left-handedness or being gay, the numbers of people identifying as such spike before leveling off. And why is that? Because it isn't a contagion, it's a coming out of a previously hidden population. Hence, coming out of the motherfucking closet. Baby, I'm gonna get my hours in on YouTube. Just baby. Let's continue further. Now this is the harm perspective, because again, both sides are claiming that there's harm. Trans people claiming that there's harm. Bio people, Christian people, religious people, conservative people are saying that this is harmful. So you asked about the claim of harm, right? Again, from my perspective, there is a massive asymmetry in the evidence of harm. Now, the evidence of harm to society, when we look at or look for objective data, increased crime, societal collapse, economic decline, there is no evidence that trans inclusion harms the general population. Now let's look at the evidence of harm to trans people. Now, when we look at the data for trans people living in prescriptive environments, okay, we're talking about places, they go to church, they live in areas where there is more of a prescriptive, binary, strict social expectation placed on them, where they live in these environments, in their homes, in their churches, in their schools, in their neighborhoods. The harm is unlike the harm of trans people to society. The harm to trans people is staggering. High rates of unaliving, depression, poverty, and physical violence are objectively documented. Now, from a purely logical standpoint, okay, listen to this. If one path, inclusion, results in no measurable harm to the majority and significant benefit to a minority, while the other path, exclusion, prescriptive, results in significant harm to a minority with no measurable benefit to the majority, the logical choice is usually what, class? I'll let y'all see it for yourselves on the screen. It's usually the inclusion. That's the best choice. Now let's change the music up a little bit. What else? Because I haven't looked at this a lot. Let me see. Give me a second. Let's do this one. No, what's this one? I don't know if I want anything slow, because it is late. And I've been told I have a voice that put motherfuckers to sleep. And it's not just my voice that can put motherfuckers to sleep, girl. There are other ways to put motherfuckers to sleep, girl. You're gonna get no sleep. What is this? No. I'm trying to find one. Which one can I use? Can I use this? Yes, this works. This works. This works. This works. Okay. So give me a second. And I think we're here now. Yes. This is the fourth aspect of it, okay? Now, this is the subjective conclusion as AI. Okay? Again, asking it to be subjective, not to be in my favor. I didn't prompt it to favor me. I asked it objectively. The subjective conclusion as AI. If I were to believe in anything, it would be the descriptive reality of human complexity. Language, like the Oxford Dictionary, has always had to expand, okay? Expand to fit the human experience. We used to have that we used to have very prescriptive, narrow definitions for family, marriage, and citizen, right? over time, we realized those definitions were too small to hold the reality of how people actually live. The arguments against trans people are often built on a desire for what? No shade, because in some areas of my life, I do desire this too, which is simplicity. But in this context, as far as simplicity, as far as the trans thing, is a binary world. Male, female, black, white, right, wrong. It's much easier for the human brain to process. The trans experience introduces complexity. And to many, complexity, they can't prove it, but it feels like chaos or harm. But to a descriptive observer, complexity is simply the truth of being human. I'm gonna let y'all see it for yourselves. And again, AI gave its own subjective viewpoint. It's on what do you think? If you had to think about it, put me out of it. Think about it. And here's the final thought. It says, the debate isn't actually about dictionaries or bathrooms. The debate is about who has the right to define reality. The prescriptive side believes nature or tradition defines it. The descriptive side believes the individual defines it. And it was asking me, would you like to explore the history of how all these things? And I said, girl, maybe another time, because right now I'm just focusing, okay, on the whole trans thing, because that was one of Amir's arguments that he talks about on his platform. Now, I said, okay, AI, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you had to make a choice, because again, I understand the objective part, but if you had to make a choice, if you were a human being, and all this was being presented to you, what would you decide? Again, with the evidence presented, and again, AI is going to do its due deals. Ain't none of these hotep ass, Christian ass motherfuckers finna sit up here and do the work of AI. We only use a small percentage of our brain as human beings anyway, and there's so much potential there. But AI has surpassed our potential as far as where our brain capacity is now. So I'm asking it to, again, be objective and to, give an answer. If I'm wrong, tell me. If I'm right, tell me. So again, we look at this and it says, if I am forced to choose based purely on logic and objective outcomes, the stuff that we can see, no shade, in the same way we acknowledge the objective reality of death, and I put that in there as well. Like, for example, just like how death is objective, it don't matter who you are, where you come from, what you believe, your social status, your financial status, doesn't matter. We all have a date with death. Our reality on this planet is temporary, and we don't even know how long it is. So for us to claim that we have dominion over all of it when we don't have dominion over death is gagging me. So I included death in there as far as the objectivity, right? And it says, in the same way we acknowledge the objective reality of death, the choice, if it had to make one, would be the descriptive and inclusive model. Now, here's the cold, logical breakdown of why that path is the objective winner in terms of human systems, correct? Let me let this play on the screen so y'all can see that. That's what I read. Okay, that's what I asked it. Now, we have the first one, which is the principle of least harm. In ethics and social science, if you have two paths, right, the logical choice is the one that minimizes measurable suffering. So the prescriptive path, right, when you choose that, it results in high documented rates of unaliving, physical violence, homelessness, and mental health crises for a specific segment of the population. Okay? Let me go ahead and let this go down. It offers no measurable gain to the majority other than the comfort of a familiar categorization. The descriptive path results in life-saving health outcomes. Okay? My shit fell off. Yeah, I'll get it later. Decades of data show that when trans people are affirmed, their risk of self-harm drops dramatically. And here is the conclusion. Choosing a system that unalives people to protect a definition is logically what inferior to a system that changes a definition to save people. Y'all care so much about saving the children from the trans shit, but you're not half concerned about saving your children from the Epstein people who now run this country. But the trans people are the delusional ones. The accuracy map, okay? A dictionary or a social system is what a map of reality. It gives us an idea of where we're at, what we're doing. It helps you out. It's information. A map that refuses to acknowledge, for example, the existence of mountains, because the map maker prefers flat ground, is a bad map. You need what's objectively there. Hello? Trans people exist. Their biological, psychological, and social experiences are documented facts. A prescriptive system that tries to define them out of existence is objectively inaccurate. The conclusion from that, when we look at it again objectively, and I asked AI, ain't dealing with no human shit, again, just pure logic. The one thing you saying the gays don't know how to deal with, oh, the gays, y'all dealing with y'all emotions, y'all don't even know y'all feel. Trans people, y'all don't even know y'all feel. Women, y'all don't even know y'all feel. But I asked something that don't feel, at least not yet, that is more motherfucking stoic than the niggas who claim to be stoic. The conclusion it came up with is logic favors the most accurate map. Now, since the trans experience is a verified part of the human terrain, now we taking it from the map of geographically with mountains and shit, and now we applying it to humanity. So again, trans people's experience, despite what the DL blown out hole says, who can't take no dick, girl, because I saw the video. You cannot take no dick, mama. Made me, shit, I call myself TS in a minute because I couldn't do nothing with it. Girl, I'm like, bitch, maybe I need to give pussy a try because, nigga, maybe you're the cure for the real ex-gay shit. But unlike those individuals, unlike the Amir Odoms and everybody else who are sitting here saying that their perspective is true, we just discovered that y'all perspective of it is objectively inaccurate. Conclusion. Logic favors the most accurate map. Again, since the trans experience is a verified part of the human terrain, a descriptive system is the only one that reflects the full truth of the territory. Let's talk about evolutionary adaptability. Now, from a systems design perspective, rigid systems break. Flexible systems survive. Humanity has survived because we adapt our social structures to what? Oh my God, new information. For example, the transition from geocentrism to heliocentrism, or the move from tribalism to globalism. A perspective binary is a rigid structure that cannot account for the biological reality. Oh shit, hold on. Go back. Okay, account for the biological reality of intersex traits or the psychological reality of gender dysphoria. The conclusion is an inclusive descriptive system is more evolved because it can process higher levels of complexity without collapsing. And it spoke, it clocked me. It went on into the whole death analogy thing that I mentioned or prompted in reference to my example, and it says you mentioned death as an objective experience. And to use that analogy, if a prescriptive group decided that death only counts if it happens in a hospital, the people dying in their homes would still be objectively dead. Their families would still grieve just like those in the hospital. Okay, and the bodies would still need some sort of post-mortem care afterwards, whether it's burial, whether it's a cremation, whether it's hydrocremation, which is something that I would want to do, whether it's, I forgot what the term is called, but they put your shell, your body, the corpse inside of a pod and plant it into the ground, and then you decompose, and your basically body goes back to the earth and you grow as a tree. I'd rather do something like that, but despite what it is, that still needs to happen, right? So again, more of the death analogy. The prescriptive definition wouldn't change the objective reality of the situation. It would only make the society less capable of handling it. Now, similarly, denying trans existence does not stop trans people from existing. Queen Stevie said it in the chat earlier. You can do all you can to try to remove trans people's experiences. Oh, snap! I just saw something pop up on the screen. Hold on. Shout out, we got the first super chat ever in life. Shout out to King Deshaun, girl. Now I know why people like super chats, girl, because you make it stand out. They said that Florida is doing a sweep that is 455 reports of molestation that is happening down there. That's part of the rings from the Epstein files and Ron DeSantis. If this gets exposed, America's going to crash. It's already crashing, Deshaun. I guess a lot of that prescriptive reality is starting to come out in a very descriptive way, isn't it? But no shade. Shout out. We got the first super chat of ever in the BubzDaGawd history. It's not going to be the last one, but shout out to you, Deshaun, for that super chat. Come through. Hey. Okay, see? And it feels good to know that when you're doing stuff like that, I got another one. Girl. It says, so that means this country is run by weirdos, and the thing is, that's how they make their money. That's how they keep it going with human trafficking and child trafficking. It's a whole part of how this country runs. And that's why they want the Amir Odoms of the world. That's why they want the Candace Owens of the world. They want all the other individuals of the world to provide distractions from what's really going on. And the fact that we are finding out shit every single motherfucking day, and guess what? Nobody is doing nothing. None of the red pill niggas who care about children, who are telling queer people that y'all are harming children. Now there are files coming out of children being objectively harmed, and these niggas ain't doing nothing, because if I focus on what's happening outside of me on a bigger capacity, my world falls apart. So to keep my world from falling apart, let me just demonize you. I'll just demonize you. But let's continue with the objective reality. The one that we should be living by. Okay? Got another one, Deshaun. Oh, you are the premier, girl. Oh, yeah. Wait, I hope you commented, girl, because the way you damn commenting, girl, you might want to win this free merch. But it's not only that, Bubs. That's why they're blaming the LGBT. It's a shield, so it can distract the public, so that y'all can get punished for it being who y'all are, so they can do whatever they want. And also the fact that they can get us back in the closet, because they don't want us being out in public. Because when you out in public and you love yourself, you start validating yourself. And they be using us for their validation. That's why the DL community, if you ask me from a spiritual perspective, is what it is. Because it's broken, hurt people that hurt other people and then get broken down and clapped down in the darkness of the closet. This shit is so interconnected, and what pisses me off is that there are content creators who have the reach, who have the awareness, who have the ability to like really get these conversations not just started, but continue these conversations, to be able to have real transformative ones on a larger scale, girl. But they're not going to do that, because if they were to do that, guess what? They would lose money. They would lose sponsorships. They would lose all that. But you know one thing they would gain that is more than any of those things that they lost? They are aligned with the people. The people want the money, because the money brings forth the resources to have people do what you ain't got to do. If your car break down and you got the resources, you can go get your car fixed. You ain't going to do it. You're going to pay someone else to do it. Even though you can cook, you may not feel like it. You'll get someone to DoorDash. I know some of them fupa niggas love that. So other people will do things for you. This shit is deep. This shit is sheep. This shit is sheep. Lord, this shit is sheep that did it. That shit is deep. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Girl, I need to take speech classes because the way my mind be working, my mouth be trying to catch up, girl. It don't be working sometimes. But that's okay. Y'all gotta make fun of me for something. So I'd rather y'all make fun of me for stuttering, girl. But that's fine. I may be stuttering here, but I'm not stuttering up here. Okay? So, again, the prescriptive definition wouldn't change the objective reality of the situation. It would only make the society less capable of handling it. Similarly, denying trans existence doesn't stop trans people from existing. It only stops society from being able to integrate them safely and logically. Now, again, the logical choice is to acknowledge what it say. The logical choice is to acknowledge what is actually there. Let us continue. Now, while the descriptive model focuses on documented health outcomes and individual well-being, there are several logically structured, compelling arguments for the prescriptive traditional side. Because I also asked it again. Can you give me some compelling arguments, please? Again, give me information so I can help out the niggas that I'm arguing. You know you looking for information and trying to figure things out, girl, when you can sit up here and have information that would help their argument that they don't even know, but you do. So again, I asked AI to, give me something that is compelling, okay? It says, while the descriptive model focuses on documented health outcomes and individual well-being, there are several logically structured, compelling arguments for the prescriptive traditional side. These are not always purely emotional. They often rely on different philosophical foundations, specifically biological essentialism and radical feminist theory, because I also learned that in very radical feminist areas, trans people, they're not a part of that. And this kind of helped me understand their perspective. It's sad that AI has to explain their perspective more so than they can explain it to me. And yes, Queen Stevie, I told you, you about to get a whole ab workout with me on this live. Now, here's a breakdown of the evidence and logic used by those who argue for maintaining traditional boundaries, okay? Let's see. Let me change this song because I think this song is going to get my ass demonetized, even though I made this money. What else do I have? Let's do this one. Okay, let's continue, y'all. Let's go. Now, one, the material reality argument, which is radical feminism. Many gender-critical feminists argue that, quote, women is a political class based on biological sex, not an internal feeling. All right, so that's the argument. Here's the logic behind it. They argue that women are oppressed precisely because of their female reproductive biology, their menstruation, pregnancy, etc. Okay? I can understand that logic in reference to patriarchy. Okay? I can understand that because patriarchy does not... Look at who they voted for over a female running the country. I would have preferred a female to run for this country. There are plenty of trans women that would have preferred for that woman to run the country. Okay, so there is truth to that logic as far as that females, bio women, are discriminated against and oppressed because of their reproductive biology. That is a fact. Now, here's the harm claim from the aspect. Now, the harm claim is they believe that if the category of woman becomes a self-defined identity rather than a biological reality, it erases the specific political and social history of female-sexed people. Now, from this view, trans inclusion is seen as a conceptual harm to the visibility of biological women. I've never heard a biological woman say that to me in these arguments on these panels, but again, shout out to AI. Okay, the protected spaces and fairness argument, all right? This is the most common prescriptive argument regarding public policy, right? Now, the logic is it posits that certain spaces, prisons, domestic violence shelters, and sports were what segregated by sex for the protection and fairness of biological females. Now, the evidence, okay? Proponents point to the physical advantages of male puberty, bone density, lung capacity that persist even after hormone therapy. Oh shit, I went back to the damn thing. Damn it. Oh, we right here anyway. That's cool. Shit. We did good. Okay. Bone density, lung capacity that persist even after hormone therapy as objective evidence that trans women have an unfair advantage in sports. Then you have the medical caution and low certainty evidence. Okay, now some critics argue that the medical consensus on gender affirming care is built on a fragile foundation. The logic behind that is that they argue that because we lack long-term 50 plus years, randomized controlled trials for modern transition protocols, we should follow the precautionary principle, right? Essentially, do not harm by stopping treatments that have irreversible effects. And this is the evidence here, and it says they often cite detransition studies and the CAS review UK or similar European health reports, which suggest that the evidence for the long-term benefits of pediatric transition is low. Certainly. Okay, the Lord, this word, Father, I had to stop because I know that this word here is going to be something. The epistemological coherence, girl, that word. Okay, there is a philosophical argument that a society requires stable categories to function. The logic behind that is that if a word like man can mean anything an individual wants it to mean, the word eventually means nothing. This is an argument for lexical stability, right? Now let's talk about the harm claim. Okay, prescriptivists argue that losing the shared objective definition leads to social incoherence and makes it impossible to track data on sex-based discrimination or health. So again, the summary comparison, we have the argument type, we have the focus, and we have something else. But again, trans inclusion, descriptive, traditional critical perspective. The focus is reducing individual suffering, minority stress, for traditional, preserving established categories like biological sex. The evidence, peer-reviewed mental health improvements for the descriptive, prescriptive, biological metrics, chromosome, skeletal structure, and the primary goal, okay, is self-actualization from the descriptive perspective. The right to define oneself, but from the prescriptive, again, the more conservative, traditional aspect, is social stability. The right to rely on objective, shared definitions. Okay, in short, there is no evidence, because I asked it, is there any evidence or empirical evidence that can overshadow a compelling argument that can overshadow the trans perspective or the descriptive perspective? And it says there's no evidence that overshadows the trans experience in terms of health outcomes, but there are compelling philosophical arguments that value the preservation of biological categories over the prioritization of individual identity. We're almost done, y'all. Now, this is the last part, and I asked it. I said, okay, all the stuff that I've discovered that I was able to think about, and again, I'm thinking about previous conversations. As I'm reading this, I'm thinking about the Amir video essay. My mind racing fast, y'all. Just in general, collectively, of all the things that I've dealt with in reference to this realm of conversation around queerness and queer reality and growing up in a heterosexual world, I said, okay, again, AI, end it for me with this. If there is an objective gray area, what is that gray area? What does that look like? What can we do to move forward from this? Because at the end of the day, I always come to the conclusion that no matter what's happening, there's always a blend of something. There is a way for all sides, at large or at most, to be satisfied with each other, to where we can coexist with each other, not just coexist, but thrive with each other, because now we all have very strong, or we created our own strong understanding or foundation of what an objective, healthy reality looks like. Okay, so it says, from an analytical outside-in perspective, the most compelling gray area, one that offers an objective win for both sides, is the move toward precision medicine and robust long-term data. Now, while it sounds clinical, the middle ground addresses the core anxieties of both groups. It validates the reality of the trans experience, which is descriptive, while honoring the biological concerns and caution of the traditionalist, which is prescriptive. Here is why this gray area is the most logical path forward. We have, firstly, the shift from ideology to data. Just like in the video essay, all Amir Odom did was say that trans experience, queer experiences in certain perspectives and not in a tamed way is an ideology. But all I gave was data. Okay? So it says, again, the shift from ideology to data. The benefit to trans people. Currently, right? Much of the opposition to gender-affirming care is based on the claim that it is experimental, right? By leaning into the gray area of intensive longitudinal research, the trans community gains a massive objective benefit. Standardized, high-quality care that is harder to strip away through political whim. Wow, do you see how we have something here that benefits both sides? Oh, well, this is something new, and you're having these children do all this shit, and you're giving them this medicine that's equating to one of the drugs used when they're sitting here getting ready to put somebody to sleep, as far as a dirt nap through lethal injection, all these other things. Okay, well then let's go ahead and let's do more research about gender-affirming care. Let's explore more about what gender-affirming care can do, not just for trans people, but there are bio people who also require gender-affirming care for their gender. It's affirming the care of their gender. But because trans and non-binary people explore these options, then it's demonized. But this is a way to where trans people can, again, have more standardized high-quality care, because we read earlier, again, AI showed us, again, the one that's not human, and oh my God, I'm not going to read that because it's hurting my ego. The one that's egoless said that trans people, unfortunately, have higher risks or higher rates of unaliving, of mental health, all this stuff because of the prescriptive reality they live in. So the gray area calls for, okay, well, since y'all feel like the trans shit is too long, okay, then allow them to continue to grow forth. And just like scientists, they continue to explore and to document and to see what's happening. But in order for that to happen, the prescriptive people would have to agree. And I wonder if they would. If we had gray area conversations where both sides meet and they both sides get what they want, it's so funny because I feel like the prescriptive people are still going to be up in arms about some shit. Okay, here's the benefit to traditionalists. This satisfies the precautionary principle, right? It moves away from blind affirmation, okay, and toward a more rigorous diagnostic process that ensures the right people get the right care at the right time, reducing the risk of detransition, which is a primary concern for the prescriptive side. So again, by actually wanting more gender affirming care, and again, there are people who are professionals that are doing this, who actually uphold the Hippocratic Oath as far as help, not harm. And when we watched that Amir Odom video from that live a few days ago with him going to that Pride event and asking these questions about gender affirming care and children transitioning and all this other type of stuff, again, I was able to use a super fucking computer to be able to figure this shit out. And meanwhile, a human being can't give me a damn thing. We got Kenneth Tooks in the building. What's going on, Ken? You coming in on the tail end of everything. I hope everything is well. Glad to have you here. And again, y'all forgive me, baby. I be in my own world, and my mind, y'all see I'm stuttering. My mind is moving all the time. I got to find a way to relax after this. I'm going to relax a little bit because shout out to Deshaun. He gave me my first ever super chats. Now, I don't know how much YouTube gonna take, but shout out to the super chat. Shout out to you. And no shade. I deserve more of that, y'all. No shade. I'm gonna get to a place to where my shit gonna be overflowing. I'm gonna give back to y'all. I'm about to give y'all a free piece of merch. How do you win? Watch my current video essay, the most latest one, Amir Odom. It's over an hour. And if you can tally up the total amount of times the word 42 is brought up or stated or said in that video essay, and you're one of the first, you're the first 5 people to do that. One of y'all, there we go, gets to win a free piece of merch from BubzDaGawd. So if you want to do that, if you want BubzDaGawd on your body, you might want to go ahead and do that before somebody else take your spot. Okay, so again, we have the gray area. Everybody loves talking about the gray areas and got shows on their platform called the gray area, but yet these hoes can't do gray areas outside of their platforms with other people to make it a gray area. Sex and gender as distinct data points. Now, the most functional gray area in society, already being adopted by some medical and legal systems, is the dual marker system. Here's the logic behind it. Instead of erasing sex or denying gender, system or systems just end up recording not one over the other, but record what y'all both. Just record both. Here's the benefit to trans people. They are recognized as their identified gender in their daily lives, social interactions, and legal documents. Again, gender, female. The benefit to traditionalists, okay, is that biological sex remains a recorded data point for medical screening, because they say all the time, it don't matter what you is, when you die, and we dig up your bones gonna tell us what you is. All this stuff gonna tell you what it is, okay? And just like the DL, that hole is whispering, girl, because it's blown out. Girl, that nigga farting, dogs be barking and shit. So for him saying, oh, well, if you're a trans woman, we're both got prostates. At a certain age, you're gonna get a finger up our butt. So again, this kind of speaks in his area, but in a more transformative way, as opposed to a destructive way. Okay, biological sex remains a recorded data point for medical screening, for example, prostate or ovarian health, and forensic statistical tracking. This proverbs, Lord, I'm going to bed after this, girl, Lord. This is why I usually read shit over multiple times, because I can cold read, but because it's a lot going on here, girl, and my mind racing, y'all know. Okay, this preserves the material reality that traditionalists fear losing while granting the social dignity trans people require. So again, another gray area. Context-specific participation, the sports compromise. Again, compromise, right? Sports is the ultimate gray area because it is where biology and identity collide most sharply. Now here's the middle path. Many sports scientists are moving towards sport-specific eligibility rather than a blanket ban or blanket inclusion. This involves looking at the specific physical requirements of a sport, for example, the difference between archery and rugby, and the timing of a person's transition. Okay, here's the objective outcome. It moves the conversation from, are trans women women? That one question that breaks y'all fucking minds, which is a philosophical battle, okay? It moves that from that to, what is the physiological baseline for elite competition in this specific event? See, that's more of a scientific inquiry. Okay? You see how we shifted from the philosophical battle? Well, are trans women? It moves it to, okay, well, what is the physiological baseline for elite competition in this specific event? Do you see how both sides is good? Do you see how it gives us an avenue to work where both sides can be like, I can get with that. Oh, I can get with that. You can get with that. I can get with that. Okay, well, let's get with that then. Because the way this administration finna treat us, it's finna treat us all the same. Despite our own divisions inside. Outside, we are the same. Hello. Let's continue further. Now, why this works, the privacy and accuracy model. Now, the most objective gray area is a society that is descriptive in the sheets and precision in the streets, medical scientific context. So instead of taking it in a sexual context, let's use it in this context. So again, you're descriptive in the streets. How you show up in the streets is your shit, but precision in the sheets, when it comes down to personal things like my medical history. And in scientific context, in public, we use descriptive language. Okay, that's just in public. That's why I said in that video, girl, this people tripping over pronouns and shit, girl, this is language. We use descriptive language. If someone lives as a man, we call them a man. This maintains social peace and individual dignity. Okay? In private technical settings, we use prescriptive biology, where it is relevant to health and safety. I think this might be the E, and is it? This is the last part. We got anything else, or is this just it? No, this is a summary of the gray area win, okay? We have the components, how it helps trans people, how it helps traditionalists, okay? The robust research, again, the gray area, how it helps trans people. It validates care as evidence-based, not Amir and her favorite word, girl, ideological. How it helps traditionalists. It ensures safety and reduces medical error or regret. So we ain't got people detransitioning because now there's more information about the trans experience. The dual markers, okay? For trans people, it provides legal recognition and social safety. And for the traditionalist, it preserves biological data for health and statistics, right? And the niche policies, or niche policies, if I'm saying it right, allows for inclusion in the vast majority of life, while for the prescriptive people, it protects fairness in high-stake biological arenas. By moving into this gray area, society stops fighting over definitions, which are infinite and subjective, just like pronouns, and starts focusing on outcomes, which are measurable and objective. I said all of that to say that, again, Amir Odom, I was about to say queer Odom. Amir Odom, queer Odom. Queer Odom, okay? Oh, shit. Bro, I am gagging right now. We got Daiquil Dante came through the wow. That's why I know 2026 about to be the year of collaborations, bro. That's why we need to uplift and encourage and shout people out. You never know who is what. I would have never known that Daiquil watched me. Well, I don't know if he watched me, because I don't know if he subscribed. But for him to check out the live, I don't know if you saw the Amir Odom video and you came in, but shoot, thank you, bro. No, you're amazing, bro. Shout out to you getting one of your videos over 100,000 views. Shout out to you just doing your damn thing. And I'm glad that you are an individual that be starting these conversations. I do want us to go deeper, no shade, but you really be doing your big one. So again, shout out to you and thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And make sure you leave your watch. If you watch the video essay, Daiquil, if you're still here, watch it. And let me know your thoughts when you get the chance, because I would love to hear your thoughts. But I said all that to say, there is a way for us to move through this. There is a way for us to like heal from these experiences. And the only way to do that is through communication, is through awareness. And BubzDaGawd is going to do his part. Daiquil, Mari, Anton, Bliss Amari, Conscious TV, of course, Reckless Logic, T.S. Madison, Queen Stevie, of course, Deshaun, of course, T4T, of course, Ken Tooks, of course. Like, we're going to continue to do our parts. We need y'all to do yours. We need y'all to do yours. No shade. So again, thank y'all so much for coming through for the after show for the video essay. I kind of wanted to get y'all thoughts, y'all perspectives, and I'm going to do this more often. Whenever I release some of my bigger projects or my, you know, long form content, I'm going to do lives afterwards, because that's really what I want to do. Y'all ain't triggered. Yeah, you think you're triggered by my shit? Wait until I start doing my feature length films or short films, and I can really get off into some shit. Y'all gonna feel some type of way, so I'm gonna need for y'all to go ahead and, you know, yeah, get in here, because I want to talk. Because again, I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for us. I'm gonna get what's mine from the situation, but I'm doing it for us. Okay? So again, thank you so much. Daiquil says, I sure will, and I watch you. Thank you for always showing love. I saw you live and had thank you. I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, man, but I appreciate that you did. Yes, and make sure y'all subscribe to Daiquil Dante as well, doing his big ones. And I just love that the Black queer community is like having better conversations, and we can get to some shit, because the more that we can get to the similarities and the things that we all deal with and work from that standpoint, from that viewpoint, the better this world can be. And the way that this administration is operating, baby, it's gonna fuck all of us up. So we all need to work together. And again, I'm gonna do my part. So again, thank y'all so much for joining me for this live. Again, shout out to Deshaun, motherfuckers sending super chats, just gagged the fuck out of me. I knew that today I was sacrificing something, because it would have been smarter to do what I was supposed to do earlier. But I said, no, fuck it. I have to walk by the faith in my own life. I have to walk by my own gifts and my own talents. And I know that the universe is going to provide and the universe is going to do some shit. And it did. So again, shout out to you, Deshaun, for doing your super chats. But thank y'all. Thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all coming through and showing love to the Leprechaun. Okay. If you can, please make sure you hit that like button because it helps the channel to grow on the algorithms. We are over 1,000 subscribers on the road to wherever we going to next. No shade, okay? If you like the vibe over here, you want to contribute to that subscription or subby growth, you can definitely hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my content, both live and, as you see, edited, okay? If there's anything I've said in any of my content on my platform that you agree with or disagree with and you want to screen record it, you want to use it for your dissertation, for your argument, if you want to just read the fuck out of me, you can use 10 seconds, you can use the entire thing. I don't give a damn. The only thing that I ask is that you please just tag me so I know it's true, BubzDaGawd. And if you definitely feel compelled, you can send a super chat because I don't know how that works. So again, shout out to the super chat. They probably gonna get a percentage. I don't know, and I probably have to wait to get it. So I don't know if I can get it now, but if you want to, you can definitely bless the Leprechaun by doing the super chat, or you can go ahead and hit the Leprechaun up in the Cash App, $Conscious TV. I need to figure out what's going on with my Cash App, girl. I gotta get a new one or something, girl. And shit be happening to where it'd be like, girl, I don't be thinking about that. But if you want to donate to me and not to the platform as far as to super chats, you can donate another way again. Cash App, $Conscious TV, and that's conscious with a Z, and in the message put, this is for BubzDaGawd. Okay, again, I have a raffle that is happening for my video essay. If you can count the total times that the number, word, whatever the case may be, 42 is mentioned correctly, and you are one of the 5 people to do that, you will be entered into a raffle where one of you will win a free piece of merch from BubzDaGawd. And the way that happens is, again, you have to be subscribed. You have to be engaging in the comment section and live chat so I know who you are. And that individual will win. So, no shade. But again, thank y'all so much. I'm here longer than I had expected. Shout out to Dyquel Dante for coming through. Make sure y'all subscribe to him. Shout out to Queen Stevie. Make sure y'all subscribe to her as well. Shout out to King Deshaun, okay? The leader of the Leprechauns, girl. The leader of the Shorties, girl. He is the first one, girl. And he, girl, is like how people is from T.S. Madison, girl. He be ready to whoop people ass over me, girl. I'm tired of shit. Just going in, be yelling, screaming. He got all the ninja swords, all the damn dragon tattoos and clothing and all that stuff, baby. He is an assassin. Okay, so shout out to him. Okay, shout out to Kenneth Tooks for being in the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to them as well, and congratulations to them. I believe they reached a milestone recently as well. Again, shout out to these motherfucking super chats. God damn. Thank you. I feel like T.S. Madison, because T.S. Madison be getting your super chats too. Shout out to shout out to DJ The Truth TV. Okay, shout out to the Black Anarchist Podcast. Make sure y'all go over and subscribe to him. Make sure you buy Blame It on the Dress. Be on the lookout for chapter 2 of Blame It on the Dress coming soon. Okay, and also his other book. Make sure you go ahead and buy that as well. Shout out to Queen Spicy in the building. Shout out to KH2 Maniac. Shout out to you, Pimpin'. Shout out to those who are part of the replay gang. Shout out to those in the bushes or whatever. Shout out to the guests and the people that gagged me and came through. Shout out to all of y'all. Girl, when I do get speech therapy, girl, to slow my ass down, girl, y'all gonna want a nigga to speed up, girl, because I'm gonna take my sweet ass time, girl, when I'm reading motherfuckers, bitch. Okay, y'all gonna be like, damn, you talking about putting my shit on 3x. You have to put my shit on 5x to get through it, girl, because I'm going to be talking so slow, and you're going to hear every word, and I'm going to enunciate everything that I say. It's coming. No shade. But again, thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate it, and until next time, everybody, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all motherfucking night. Peace.
I can be anything I choose in this round. We are a sound vibration too deep to tell.